Together here with us in the courtroom this afternoon, and to those of you who might be watching us at home, thank you for joining us as well. And we thank you for your interest in county government. We're all experiencing new processes during this coronavirus situation and learning to do things differently than we've been doing them for years and years. And this is something unique for us. We do want to bring county government and to you. We have a very limited agenda tonight so that we keep to a minimum the other items will be brought back in subsequent meetings as we go forward. So we thank you again for your patience, and we will officially call to order the April meeting of the Randolph County Board of Commissioners. And this has been declared a county-wide day of prayer here in Randolph County. I have received a couple of phone calls and comments from around, and I think some of the other commissioners have also, thanking us for this recognition. And I'm a believer in prayer, and it has been answered on my behalf many times. As I thought about having someone here tonight for our prayer, I kept going back to our high school friend, Dwight Ayers. Dwight and I go back to elementary school, and he's been a chaplain in the Randolph County Sheriff's Department for 49 years. I remember that. I think we were in the 8th grade when Dwight got started. But essentially, he has been he's been a real friend to me for all my life. And speaking of prayer, I'm sure he's had a lot to do with me living as long as I have. And there's nobody that we'd rather have to join us tonight. The other commissioners have gotten to know Dwight as well over the years, and I sent him an email last night and told him that I prayed about it, and God kept giving me his name every time, so there's no need for him to go pray because he's going to get the same answer. So with that, Dwight, we are glad you're here tonight on this day of prayer, and to open our meeting tonight with prayer as we start our agenda for this April meeting of the County Commissioners. For those of you in the room, please stand, and we will have our pledge of allegiance.
Let's pray together. Our precious Lord and Savior, first we want to come this time. Omniscient, omnipresent, ever so patient God in the universe. Father, we realize that we're going through too much of this time, but Lord, you already know, and you already knew what we're going to face. And Father, I just claim your promise tonight. You said, I will never leave you and I will never forsake you. No matter what you go through, I will be with you. My arms of love will be around you, and I thank you for that promise, Lord. And Father, I thank you for a group of commissioners who love you enough to realize that all these other things that we do, they have their importance. But if we want real relief from this terrible scourge, Father, we know that you're the only source to rid us of this virus. But Father, we have seen you do mighty and magnificent and wonderful things. And we just come begging you today that you might come in, that you might destroy this virus, this plague that's encompassing our county, our state, and our world. And Father, that you might just restore us. But Father, we realize that the only way we're going to be restored is when we get humble ourselves before you, Father, and seek your face. Realizing that, Father, that you need to cleanse our hearts. We were just an old hell-bound sinner. But Father, through the precious blood of your Lord, our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ, you made us a heaven-bound saint. And Father, we thank you for that reality today. Now we ask you, Father, just to come in and be with each of our special first responders. I have to just bring them before you tonight, Father. Our precious law enforcement family, precious emergency services, firefighters, all the medical personnel. Lord, we realize that in every circumstance when everyone else is running away from it, we're running towards it. Now I just ask you, the power of your almighty power, to just watch over and protect each one of these who are on the front lines, ministry day in and day out. May a hedge of protection be brought around each one of them. And Father, I pray that each one of us who are citizens of Randolph County will pledge to keep them in our prayers each and every day, as well as all of our leaders and all the others who minister each and every day on the front line serving us. Now, Father, I just want to rejoice in what I know you're going to do. Father, I've seen you do mighty things. I've seen everybody give up and said there's nothing we can do. Praise the Lord. You come in and said, wait a minute. You just hang on there. You haven't seen what the Almighty, omnipotent, all-powerful God of the universe will do. And Lord, whenever we see you magnify your wonderful and complete power, we see people have been restored, healed. And so we ask you today to heal our land, to restore us. Not because we deserve it, but because we plead the precious blood of our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ. For you said we'll come before you, you answer our prayers, and you'll be with us. And we ask all these things in the name of your precious Son and our most blessed Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen and amen.
Amen. Thank you, Lord. Go ahead and pray. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic which stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please be seated. I said earlier, we do have a limited agenda tonight. Madam Clerk, do we have any public comments? We do not. All right. Our next item is consent agenda. If you want to have anything that you want to pull out or to accept the motion to approve.
Move to approve.
Second. Thank you. Those in favor will say aye. Aye. Those no. And consent agenda is approved. New business. Hal's going to talk a little bit about our videos that we've been doing.
Yes, Mr. Chairman, this is, we've talked about over the past few years how historic some of the moments are in Randolph County right now. We never anticipated the pandemic and the challenges that we would be faced as a county government organization and as a community as a result of this coronavirus and the pandemic that we're all faced with. I just want to say as a day of prayer how much we appreciated Commissioner Hope Haywood this morning. We meet every morning at the county with our crisis management team, which is brought together to deal with issues involving the coronavirus, and Hope led a prayer this morning that is so meaningful and so impactful to those in attendance. And I just wanted to publicly say that. Commissioner Haywood, thank you so much for what you did. That was meaningful to that staff. Information in a time of crisis and the way you get that information out to the public is critical. And we're finding that even more so in times of the pandemic. There's so much misunderstanding there. There's fear, national fear, and it's the local government's responsibility to do all that we can, even when situations change every hour. I'm going to give you some statistics here in just a few minutes, and as I'm standing here, they may have changed since I came into this room, and that's what we're facing with the pandemic. Is information and situations begin to change on this hour. Our county government is responding to those new challenges as best that we can as the professionals that we have on staff. And I wanted to take just a few minutes to talk about the first new way that we're doing to provide information to the public. And that's the video presentations now. As we meet here today, it's the first time that we're being broadcast live on the county's Facebook and on the county's YouTube. Citizens can go onto our webpage and click on our YouTube and Facebook, and this is being broadcast live, so citizens have an opportunity to see what's being talked about at their commissioners meeting tonight. During the first meeting we've ever had that we had to limit citizens from attending because of concern of this virus and what impact it may have on them. The videos began 2 weeks ago, and we meet on Tuesdays and Thursdays. And we've had 4 videos as of today, and they're designed to provide our citizens with up-to-date information on the status of the COVID-19 pandemic and how Randolph County government is organizing and operating to ensure continuity of county services during these challenging times of the pandemic. In previous videos, the Board of County Commissioner Chairman Darrell Pryor, the Public Health Director, the Sheriff, the Emergency Services Director, the Register of Deeds, and the Risk Manager, and the Animal Adoption Coordinators have all updated our citizens on the county government's efforts to reduce potential contact, which is key in this virus, with the virus for our staff and the citizens that we serve. Every single day, every hour of every day throughout the year, somewhere, a Randolph County employee is interacting with a citizen of Randolph County, whether it's public health or law enforcement, emergency services, 911, social services, and the unique challenges that they face as a result of this pandemic. Randolph County employees are interacting with our citizens throughout Randolph County, and we're trying to use these videos as a way of providing information to our citizens about what we're doing and what the current status is of the coronavirus. Tomorrow we'll have another video filmed at the Emergency Operations Center, Emergency Services. We'll have Chairman Darrell Pryor will provide an introduction and an update along with Susan Hayes. Our Public Health Director, the Sheriff, will give an update from the law enforcement standpoint. We're going to have Tracy Murphy tomorrow, who's our Social Services Director, and Tracy's going to provide information so that the citizens understand challenges that their employees, those wonderful employees that interact to protect our children, to protect our community 24 hours a day, and she'll be talking about that. Thursday, we have another video scheduled, again with the updates from those that I mentioned, but we'll have Chad Gurley. Chad is our Veteran Service Officer, and Chad's going to be providing special information to our veterans about the pandemic and what Veteran Service Offices is doing to better serve them. The first 4 videos have, now I may exaggerate just a little bit these numbers, but it's just less than 10,000 views. That doesn't count the views that are shared with someone else. That's just people that have gone onto our site and access these videos. And that is a good thing, because you want people to do that, to understand maybe if they've got questions, they can call. Maybe if they generate thought, they can call. I want to give you these figures as of right now, which it may have changed since I'm standing here. As of Monday, April 6th, there have been 33 confirmed cases of the coronavirus in Randolph County. 33 confirmed cases. There's been 1 death attributed to the coronavirus. There are 2 deaths currently under investigation, which the cause has not been determined. Out of all of these numbers, we have 2 county employees that have been identified having the coronavirus, and they're receiving treatment, not interacting with employees. We've taken some substantial actions in Randolph County government to try to address this pandemic that we're faced with. And keep in mind, when we talk about county government, as you know better than any elected official in the state or this nation. County commissioners, you're the front line of all these services. And you understand what we're talking about when we're talking about how our employees in the county government can't be shut down. We can't sleep. We're required to provide these services. This is what we've done so far to try to address the issues relating to the COVID-19 pandemic. We have a crisis management team. That team meets every morning at 8:30. It consists of the professionals, department heads, and professionals in Randolph County government that provide me guidance, provide each other information, up-to-date information on the pandemic and how it's impacting our county government. We've been meeting in one room, social spaces, but we're going to start going to video and Zoom type meetings now so that we don't have all our staff in one location. We've had a mandatory reduction in the numbers of employees reporting to work at their normal locations. This is teleworking policy to avoid numbers of county employees interacting with each other and also interacting with the public, but are also continuing to provide those services that we need. We've identified essential and non-essential employees. And those essential employees, we stay on the job when possible. And we try to relocate their work locations so that they're not interacting as much with the public and vice versa. All employees of Randolph County government, every single morning, are required to have their temperature screened. And we began that this Monday. And when I issued that directive to all of our employees over the weekend, you know how you second guess yourself when you make a decision like that. I had this vision of traffic was going to be backed up onto the interstate because they were having to come to the county office building at emergency medical services, and an ambulance and a paramedic professional would take the temperature, and I thought the traffic will be unusual. I called Don Davis and he reassured me they can handle it. And you know what? They did. They handled it that first day. Employees got in and out and back to their place of work. Now we have enough thermometers and we have enough resources so that the courthouse and law enforcement and social services and those agencies don't all have to come back. But we have their temperatures checked. And when they are high temperatures, EMS sends them off to the side, maybe if they need to calm down for a little bit and have it checked again. But if that temperature is there, they send them on to be checked later. And we were very proactive in doing that. Board meetings and committee meetings have been postponed when possible. Some boards in county government are required by law to meet, just like the Board of County Commissioners. And we're meeting our statutory obligations here tonight in a safe environment with social spacing and the numbers of people that are here. All departments have been required to formally provide information on a daily basis to the county manager's office concerning possible COVID-19 incidents and exposure. The first thing that we began to learn as all this began to break in March, the coronavirus, the pandemic, was first there is in this day of computers and high-speed technology and information. That's great, but you have information overload. There is so much information crossing different people's desks at one time that you can not really have a grasp on information because of the volume that you have. So what I've done and have directed the department heads to do is that when they have an employee that meets certain conditions, they have temperatures, or they suspect they're sending them home for one reason or the other, they are to immediately notify my office. And what I'll be doing is I'll be keeping a good record of what those incidents are, when they occurred, what happened, and how the situation ended from a county government standpoint. And we began that Monday at the request of last week. I began receiving information this weekend on some incidents that sometimes when the coronavirus is expected to get good news, and it's not bad. When you've got an inch of pollen on your car, sometimes you're going to get hay fever. And you start sneezing and coughing and things, it's not always coronavirus, but we try to be proactive and we try to take that into consideration. We have new protocols that we are putting into place as we speak, and began today, this weekend actually. Certainly with emergency services and the public health and law enforcement, I know this has done this also. But in a pandemic, you can't have all your major supervisors, your leadership, all in one place. You have to divide them out so that if someone is impacted, that it doesn't take out the whole leadership of the county. And we're devising protocols now in our departments, particularly our larger departments like social services. Oh my goodness, you have all those citizens packed into a relatively small, all those employees area. What happens if they were taken out? So we're beginning to make provisions so that the leadership and key personnel can be located in different areas so that they can continue to provide the services to our citizens that county government is obligated to provide. And I just want the board to know that. Every one of your department heads are working hard to continue to provide those services to the public that we're required by law and by professional obligation to do. And county government doesn't stop. Tracy Murphy, the Director of Social Services, I'm so interested to hear her comments tomorrow because the public needs to know what they do. What they do 24/7 out in Randolph County, actions on the board, that don't stop because of the virus, because of the coronavirus. And other agencies like emergency services and the health department, those wonderful nurses and law enforcement. It impacts the lives of all our citizens. And I think one of them, this event shall pass, it will pass. We will be better as a community and stronger and better able to handle situations like this in the past. And I think one of the things that will come out of it is an understanding, a better understanding of our public, of the critical role that Randolph County government plays in their lives, the critical role that's played by our county government, the decisions that you make as county commissioners. And I'm proud to stand as your county manager 2020 during this time because we're all working together to deal with these challenges that we don't know what tomorrow's going to bring us. We don't. But I want to tell you that I'm proud of our department heads and we try to prepare for any eventuality. I want to take just a minute and to talk about, we're here in the shadow of that courthouse, and we had an incident occur last Thursday, and where we had to shut the courthouse down. We had a lot of calls about that, and people concerned about that. I want to talk about that for just a minute, if I might, and maybe bring it up today. The sheriff's here. If there's questions, he can probably answer those as well as I have. But the pandemic is a rapidly evolving situation. New developments change by the hour. And our county health department, our human resources, our risk management officials work with each department as the situation allows. Although employees are protected by privacy laws, and those laws are still there, and they didn't change because of the pandemic, we treat every suspected case as positive. If you come in there with you've got the pollen issues going on and meeting some of these issues that could be the coronavirus, we look at it as positive. Anyone identified as a contact is sent home to self-quarantine, and the affected areas are thoroughly cleaned. There was an incident last Thursday, April 2nd, at the county courthouse involving a deputy that was assigned as a bailiff. The sheriff's office informed me that this bailiff had been screened as required of all our county employees prior to the beginning of work and did not have a fever. However, later that day, the deputy was sent home a little bit before lunch because he showed symptoms of what could be the coronavirus. Upon recommendation of the health department, 9 other deputies, those are the ones that came in contact with him, have all been sent home. that very morning sent home to self-monitor the results pending a virus test. The bailiff in question had not been in contact with the public that morning. That was, there's a camera system there, and I'm sure they checked to ensure that. In consultation with public health, the sheriff office, and county legal staff, Judge Brad Long issued an order to close the courthouse to allow time to disinfect the building and allow time for test results to be returned. As an extra precaution, Judge Long ordered that the county provide for a deep cleaning of the courthouse during its closure. And this was closed April 3rd, 6th, and 7th. The deep cleaning process was completed today. The courthouse will be available to be occupied tomorrow. Our Board of Commissioners normally would have made the decision on whether it was appropriate to close the courthouse building, because although the court system and the courts is the chief judge, the building itself is a county facility. The chief judge decided on court-related closures. In this instance, while the commissioners did not make the decision to close the courthouse, the order to deep clean, which was a very good proactive decision, would have naturally necessitated closure. In this fast evolving pandemic, and it is fast evolving, by the time we get out of this room here tonight, it will have changed, and those numbers I've given you may change. In this fast evolving, decisions are required to be made in a fast effort to protect safety and lives. On Sunday, April 5th, this is good news. On Sunday, April the 5th, Public Health Director Susan Hayes notified me that she'd been notified by the North Carolina State Public Health Laboratory that both the COVID-19 tests involving both staff were negative. All the sheriff's staff that were sent home for that for self-monitoring, they would be free to return to work, and the other one who was still sick when he gets medical permission to do that. So the proactive steps turned out to be negative tests, and I wanted to mention that because there have been questions asked about that, and I thought that was here in the shadow of the courthouse would be a good thing to talk about. But, Mr. Chairman, that's where we're going, where we're at right now, April 6, 2020. Don't know what April 7th is going to hold, but we will try the best of our ability to be able to respond to any eventuality that may confront our county employees and the citizens we serve.
Thank you, Hal. Any questions or comments from commissioners? Okay, hearing none, our next item of business and our main reason for being here tonight is a presentation by Bordeaux with Pastor Arthur, who's going to present, and John Richard from Bordeaux is here with him also. A little bit of expediency for this issue. All that's taking place now, we want to make sure we got ahead of some of our quotes before they started going up.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Chairman, thank you, Commissioners. Appreciate y'all keeping this on the agenda tonight. I know you wanted to minimize the agenda as much as possible, but we did want to take advantage of the current momentum in order to get pricing for the renovation work. At your planning retreat, I presented a summary of that renovation work, and an overview of what was entailed, and tonight we've got John Richard with Bordeaux Construction here to follow up on that presentation by presenting a proposal for a change order, which will pull all that renovation work into the scope of the contract. And I just want one clarification before turning it over to John. When I presented to you, I just referred to 2 phases. I simplified things. Phase 1 being the new construction, and phase 2 being renovation work. However, you'll see in John's presentation that officially there are 5 phases of construction. 1 for new construction and 4 for the renovation work. So I want to clarify that so that it is confusion. But the exact same work that I presented to you at the retreat. And with that, I will turn it over to John.
Pastor, each one of those is for 4 pages, is going to have a dollar value. Is that right?
Yes, they've got it all lumped into one for the presentation, but you can break it out if needed.
Number building us tonight, John.
Well, thank you for allowing us to present. I know these are unprecedented times. Let me just first of all kind of stop and give us, I wasn't prepared to do this tonight, but I thought it may be prudent just to give you a little bit of an update as to where the current project is. Currently, right now, all of the slabs are poured, and if you were to go to the job site itself, you'll see there's a 110-ton crane that's erected, and that crane has been brought on site to facilitate the masonry construction. So all the walls that are supporting the structure of the roof are load-bearing masonry walls. So we felt it was necessary to facilitate a little bit of expediency by the use of the crane versus having a bunch of forklifts and stuff running around the job site. So that has started today, masonry has, and you will start to see a building actually growing out of the ground. We paved the front parking lot, we put the curb and gutter in, all the storm drainage is installed, sidewalks are down, and so, pretty soon we'll start to see this building grow. Another point, as a construction company, we have been authorized to be an essential employees through the E-121 order that was given by the governor of the state of North Carolina. So because of that, we've provided every single subcontractor with a letter, basically if they get stopped from the law enforcement or deputies, this order gives them the right to actually get to the job site and return home. So we're trying to do our best to keep this project under wraps and keep it going. I'm not here to tell you that we are not going to experience delays. We probably will. I am starting to hear of some currently. We have products that are being delivered all the way as far as Alabama, and some of the workforces that are putting those things together currently are being reduced. Those people that work in these factories have decided that it is in their best interest of their own health to stay at home. So some of these factories are reducing some of their manpower, and that will potentially have an effect on our project. Okay? All right, so to get to the business at hand. What you see in front of you is basically a letter that we have put together. And Mr. Bryan, you asked about specific prices for each particular phase. What you're about to see, you will not see that information. I can share it with Paxton. I have it passed, and I can get him a breakout for phase 2, 3, 4, and 5. And that's the way we actually put the change order price together. The price that we had presented tonight is for $13,236 and $972. Of this, we already have in our contract $4,587,487. So we have allocated that money for future phase work. So when you subtract those dollars away, we are looking for an additional change order or additional funding to our current contract of $8,646,485. Okay? So how is that derived? I'm just going to see if I can work this here. This is a breakdown of that change. And what you see in front of you is a breakdown of every single subcontractor's pricing that we received. Now, again, this is a culmination of each particular phase. We didn't provide a breakdown for each phase. We totaled everything together. So you see at the bottom, you'll see in yellow here, there's a scope of work for $10,691,975, general conditions, CM allowances, and CM contingencies, as well as an owner contingency. That brings us to another subtotal, and then we have our fee, which brings us to another subtotal, and then we have our bonds and insurance, which brings us to the final total at the bottom. So what does this consist of as far as scope? Phase 2 consists of taking pod E, which currently in the back of pod E is the women's pod, as well as a more secure area for men and a rec yard. We would take over this entire pod once phase 1 is completed. That would give y'all room to move those inmates over to the new phase. And then we would rearrange the makeup of these rooms in order to make a new booking area as well as a magistrate area. Once this is done, then we would move to phase 3. Phase 3, you would move your magistrate, your booking area, and you would move them over into pod E. And then we would occupy those areas, including the kitchen as well as the laundry room. We would renovate that space, and once we finish that renovation, y'all would reoccupy that location. We would then go back into pod E and take it back over and rearrange it back to its original form. In addition to that, you also see a little box down there in the bottom left, and that is the new maintenance facility. So that is included in this price, and that we would start that during phase 4. Once phase 4 is complete, we would have 3 additional phases. It doesn't look like 3 additional pods. I don't know if that's available for you to see. But wing G, as well as wing D and F, we would go in and renovate those spaces and then turn that back over for the completion of the project. That's all I have for you tonight, and I'll just open it up for questions.
So what's the timeline?
18 months.
18 months.
Yes, sir.
And will it start before the current construction is finished?
It cannot. We entertained a few different ideas, but the long and the short, you need the space in order for us to reallocate inmates to another location. And in order for that to happen, we're going to have to finish phase 1 first.
So phase 1 is scheduled for completion, like I saw, March.
Yes, sir.
And you said earlier that could slip based on what's going on in the economy right now.
Yes, sir. Currently, we are 13 days behind schedule. That's mainly due to weather, but with everything that's going on currently, it could slip some more.
We have people that just don't show up to work.
No, fortunately, I'll be honest with you. So one of the things that we have done as a company is we have switched all of our meetings to Zoom meetings, including our owners' meetings. Paxton has been a part of that, as well as Major Chief. So all of our owners' meetings, as well as our subcontractors' meetings, have been switched over. If you come to the job site and you're there that day, such as tomorrow, to attend the meeting, you sit in your truck and you attend the meeting on the phone. So fortunately, we have some technology that's available to us to keep us going.
Questions?
Yes, and this isn't something I'm sure you don't know, but I guess what you predict the lag time is going to be 13 days behind. With, I was just referring probably to Alabama, the issues there, was that the jail cells?
That's the still cells, yes, sir. I received a phone call about that today, so, yes.
I guess a couple of questions. One is, for the economy slowing down, potential recession, what's that going to do to the construction industry? Is it, we've seen skyrocketing prices in the last 3-4 years. What's it going to look like in previous
6 months, 8 months?
Yeah, I'm putting you on the spot. No, I tend to do that.
No, that's okay. I'm here to answer your question. We don't know, to answer your question. We are hearing that, the supply houses have material. The supply houses have the banks of the goods and services to get things going back in order. The issue is we can't get them here, potentially. Right now we can. Trucks are still moving. Deliveries are still happening. We pick up the phone. We can still get material. I can't say for certain that that's going to continue. So I'm here tonight to just give us a word of caution.
Is there any part of that construction that offers an opportunity to pick up some time?
We have looked at that over and over, and unfortunately, the best plan that we see, with all the knowledge that has, not just my head, our superintendents that have weighed in on this, as architects, engineers, this is the best plan.
I'm sort of going on what's going over there now.
Yeah,
They're 13 days behind.
right. How can we pick up time?
Everything else, the weather's beautiful,
Right.
but we're still going to end up 13 days behind.
So we looked at how can we speed up the masonry? How can we put a roof on faster? How can we, as we go down this chain, is there items that are waiting to be finished and waiting for another activity to start? Can we slide those two together somehow? And yes, we are entertaining every one of those items that we see. We don't just look at it from a standpoint of this month. We look at it from a standpoint of 6 months down the road. We take the critical path and we analyze it with the group and determine whether or not that's possible. And yes, we do see some avenues for success with that, but we're still 13 days behind. That's what our report is showing today.
What else is critical? I know that the construction materials and those kind of things are
Yes.
regular. What other than the jail? What do you call the jail?
The cells.
The cells themselves. Are there any other critical?
Mechanical equipment is another piece that's really critical. If we don't have the mechanical equipment in time that we need to turn it on to start doing our testing and those kinds of things, switch gear for the electrical items, those are like,
We get back on track and then we have to
and we lose it again.
lose again because of those
Right.
major components that are not readily available.
Well,
Kind of custom.
I was having this very conversation in the car on the way over here with our superintendent tonight. What do we need to go ahead to get ahead of this? How can we assure ourselves that the material is readily available? It's not just sitting on the shelf for someone to call and grab it, but for us to obtain it. So we may be looking at avenues of trying to pay for things and allocating it on a shelf directly for us sooner than later.
The other thing I had, the contingency,
Yes,
this is renovation work.
yes.
Is that,
Enough?
yeah.
We feel like it is, in addition to the contingency that we already have built into the project itself, we feel like we're going to have a little bit of leftover from that. So that would weigh into this. So with those two combined, we feel like this is enough.
So you kind of got some contingency built in,
Yes.
above the line. Okay.
Question? Anything else? Commissioner Allen has been our guy on this thing, and, I've been to for something that we're able to get out of it, so that softens this a little bit, and, I think Paxton should feel for their efforts, working with us here too, so we might get a cheaper price a year from now, but that's a risk I don't think we're ready to take. Hopefully it'll keep moving forward.
Sir.
Comments, questions? What's the pleasure report?
Mr. Chairman, I'll move to approve the change order to add all the renovation work for the STEP contract.
Second. Further discussion? Any questions? Those in favor say aye. Aye. Those no. It's approved.
Thank you.
Keep going.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, Paxton. Phil, thanks, sir. Okay, the next item, gentlemen, is a revised schedule for our budget. David and I think we'll have, that's what this is doing, is getting us pretty much the EMT, so we know as early as we can what our revenue figures will look like. And, any unforeseen expenses, I think probably some of those might be developing right now, but, that's what we're doing. We're moving the end date closer to the end of the month. Anybody have a problem with those dates?
I think the biggest thing is that sales tax.
Sales tax, yes.
We'll have those till middle of the month for March. So we're still gonna have a 2-month lag anyway. That will at least give us a little bit closer.
I have a motion. Second. Thank you. Those in favor say aye. Aye. And the new schedule is adopted. Dan, do you have anything for us tonight?
No, obviously, as you probably know, the
Mark,
I don't have one. Just, I'm sure most of you probably know, we got notice today that the courthouse is gonna, Judge Long is open the courthouse again, Wednesday morning at 8 o'clock. That's the plan as we are here today. That's subject to change. They cleaned it thoroughly and, should be safe and ready to be open again on Wednesday morning.
you know when the next court date is? That this might be heard?
Which case?
The deal with the.
We don't have any court calendars right now. Superior Court, we don't have any schedules. Everything is going to be pushed back. I suspect the judges are going to have to look and prioritize which cases are heard. There's obviously, you have constitutional rights for some cases, particularly criminal cases, cases involving children, custody of children. Those cases are obviously first. Cases involving DSS, but I do not have.
So we're probably swimming upstream even further.
Yes, sir.
Also,
Yes, sir.
We don't really have a way of getting in there, no.
What's your question again, sir?
Because we don't really have a chance to get in there, tell them what they want to do with their schedule.
Well, we will have chances once we know what the court dates are. This is right now. They're not even home court. It's for superior civil court cases. Our case will be placed on based on the trial court coordinator, but I suspect the judges are going to have a challenge of trying to prioritize. We're getting ready to have issues that we've never had before. But in my 23 years of experience, I've never experienced this. We've never had a situation where the judges and attorneys and trial court coordinators are gonna have to prioritize which cases are heard.
Being mentioned, and I was gonna say something at the end of, Howard's report on the virus. And you mentioned these cases that are there from, social services. Probably of all of our departments, the greatest exposure is, and they have to go to court. These, 50B, that, they have to be done within a certain amount of time. And you're in court with foster parents and the biological parents. They're going into homes. They are really exposed in this process.
Sure.
Yeah, so, well, Judge Long and Judge Kavanaugh, I'm sure they've been, dealing with this and prioritizing this, but 50B cases, DSS cases involving custody, emergency ex parte custody of children, 50Bs, first appearances, individuals who are in custody, all of those cases, they have a constitutional right to be heard, usually in statutory periods of time. And so those cases are still being heard. Our district court judges are holding court for first appearances for people who have been locked up and haven't had their first appearance. They're being held. 50Bs, individuals have rights to be heard on that within a certain statutory period when they've been issued an ex parte order. So there's cases that that are required in our state and federal constitutions to be heard.
Okay, thank you, Dan. Commissioners, any updates? I'm doing, is you on the development board that you there is being canceled, or we're doing all this telecoms, and it's a new experience for me. So, and I am swearing in to be board member for Ashburn City Schools tomorrow night by, what do you call it? Zoom. So, yeah, by myself. But business goes on as best we can. I need to have conversations with all our staff and our various departments who are getting by, doing the best they can today. I went into the tax department this morning, and everyone was there, some of our folks on a limited basis, but everybody's doing what they can to get us through this process, and it is not going unnoticed nor unappreciated. And if you get a chance to see some of them, just can't give them a pat on the back, but give them a thank you, wave at them or something, give them a thank you for what they do. So, all right, and I don't know of any those serious issues that have come up within the department, how about service or county services or need to, we haven't addressed in some fashion. Okay, do I have a motion to adjourn?
So moved.
Second. And we are adjourned. And those of you who joined us by video tonight, and thank you for your support, and we hope to see all of you here live in May. God bless.